All right, now I've got this groove cut in here. Take a look at it. And I'm stopping every so often to make sure that I'm filing nice and level and true and filing as much off on the front as I am on the back. And we see that I stopped a little bit shy of midway because not just that channel is what I need. I need to take, and I'm going to use a tiny 3 square file, and I'm going to undercut. I'm going to cut out a triangular little section next to each of them, and that's going to be the channel that my reed is going to crimp into. Now, this file here, I got it off the internet. This is a Grobet, or Grobet, G-R-O-B-E-T, gunsmithing 3 square file. Had really good luck with it. I started off using Harbor Freight files, a micro file set. That kind of worked, but they're just not as high as quality. You see how this comes to a long taper so you can get it into tiny, tiny spaces. Now I'm going to take, and I'm going to clamp this in. And when you get to this point, you really need to take your time and be sliding your harp reed in and checking it. I'm going to go ahead and be filing here, and I'm going to file an undercut on both sides of my groove. I need to stop every so often to sight down it. I get my head down here right by it, and I'm sighting down to make sure that I'm doing everything straight. And a lot of this time I'm going to be sliding my reed into place, checking to see where do I need to take off more metal, where don't I need to take off, what do I need to straighten. And just light pressure from the file. Let the file do the work. Don't ruin your good files by pushing as hard as you can. And make sure that you're filing straight. Everything is going to be level. Large amounts of this are probably going to get cut out because you don't want to see me filing all day. I'd like to turn the air conditioner back on because it's a little bit hot in here, but I just don't want to make it hard for everyone to hear. Let's go ahead. We have a marked out where we need to slide into. Let's see where we're going. Oh yeah, we need to take off a lot more. We're coming in here skewed. So let's take off a lot on the left-hand side. Check and see if we're going to be level here. See where we're getting. Yeah, still more off this side. Ooh. Careful with your reed. It's sharp on the end. You don't want to run that into you. I've ran them into my fingers before. Actually, once a scrap reed, but I tapered too much. And it was this long, skinny, toothpick size piece. I was messing around on the workbench, moving some stuff around. I ran it through one side of my thumb and out the front. It wasn't life-threatening, but it didn't make my day any better. This is the part of harp building where it gets really tedious. You don't want to rush yourself here and then ruin all your progress or spend. Oh, there we go. We're starting to be a little bit more centered now. Here's our mark we need to slide to. We'll move that over just a little bit. There you go. Here's our mark that we need to slide to. We have a little ways to go, and I'm still off at an angle. So that is the side I'm going to be taking some off of. Do a little bit of filing at this point, check it. Do a little bit of filing, check it. Check to make sure you're filing off all level. When you start getting close, you really want to start checking often. A little bit off this side to kind of turn my reed. A little bit off this side here. Where are we coming? We're getting closer now. Take my hammer here. This is an old hammer. This is One of Grandpa Beb's hammers. I'll use that for checking in as well. Oh yeah, we're coming off a lot straighter now. We'll drive it in, see where we're coming off. Oh yeah, we're coming very straight, but we're not far enough yet. I need to come clear to this mark to be correct. And what we're gonna do once we start getting closer, I'm gonna drive this into place hard because it needs to fit like a puzzle piece. Now careful when you remove this, not to slice yourself, but I've done a better job of, there we go, of honing reeds. I don't leave burrs on them anymore. Now I know I'm coming in even, so I need to take a little bit off each side. A little bit off the right side, a little bit off the left side. Checking to make sure we're level. Yeah, if you're doing this and you want to use methods like I do, I would highly suggest getting yourself a little teeny gunsmithing file, Grobet or Grobit. And check often when you get to this point, because a little bit does a lot. Oh, we're getting closer. We'll give it a... When I drove it in, it kicked off to the side a little bit, so I know something's not true. I need to true that up. I don't want to go crimping a harp that's going to, when I crimp it in place, that's going to drive off course. A little bit of filing. Then you check it. A little bit more. And then we're going to drive it into place and see how close we came up with. As we're getting close, now the hammer will actually wedge it in there. It needs to be like a puzzle piece. Tapping it in with the hammer. I can see that we're driving a little bit off center. That means more needs to come off this side. I know it's tedious, but you want to make a good harp. You want to take the time in the areas that you need to. I can speedily bend them. I can speedily cut reeds out. I can sharpen them speedily. But as of right now, this is the part that cost me probably the most time. This and truing everything up. And then I'll take a little bit off this side, off the back. Let's straighten that up. Blocking people's view. Then I got this. This is a Harbor Freight file. It's a file on one side, and then it's got two smooth sides. That helps for if you need to smooth out a little imperfection or flatten yourself out here. Because I want my reed to be sitting in there true with the arms. Oh, we're getting close now. Getting close too. More fire. A bit of true in here. Take your time. Oh, we're about there. Oh, we're getting pretty close there. Another 1/4 inch, and I've already cut myself a little bit. That was on the back side of the reed, the part I didn't hone. I was pulling it out. Always be careful with working with reeds, especially an area that you haven't honed, because where the shear cuts it, it can leave a microscopic burr. There it is. Just a little bit more. This is the point where I don't want to file and go too deep. A little bit off both sides, a little bit. And we'll test. I went too far before, and it really makes for a harp that doesn't play well if you take too much off. Okay. Now we're coming in straight. I'm going to tap it with the hammer. Oh, come on, yeah. Get it. Oh, it's so close. Are we close enough? We're a little bit off to the side. So I'm going to take a little bit off that side. Now it's drove in there good. It's going to be hard to get this reed out of here, I have a feeling. Come on. I know which side I got to take off of. Which side we're askew on. A little bit more. Yeah. I just don't want to apply too much pressure clamping it like this because I really don't want it to warp or bend. A little bit more off that side and we'll be there. A little bit at a time, a little bit of harping. Come on out there. Just a little bit more. A little bit off his backside. Just barely is what we're working with here. True this back out. Making sure everything's flat. Everything runs good. Not only straight with the decks, but also sitting level with them as well. Let's see where we're at. I don't want to go too far, file too much. I think that's going to have it. A little tap. There it is. Now what I'm going to do